Hey guys, I'm gonna make a little video showing myself and talking because I think a lot of you finally caught up to being ready to handle traumatizing information about how our world works. Keep in mind pretty much everything I say on this whole channel, I do not take pleasure in saying. But it's just reality, and it's highly controversial. That doesn't mean the information is wrong or bad. I noticed this when I was around 6 or 8 years old, and quickly learned that I had to just never talk about it. And it's been that way for years and years. And now, after coronavirus and now that the average new hire in the job market is like 42 years old or something like that, which is like the worst it's ever been, I think y'all are finally ready to understand how jobs fundamentally, as a concept entirely, the way we're doing it, don't and can't work. If you're wondering why it doesn't work, blah blah blah, how can we fix it? You can't, because it can't work. It's not you. There are the lucky ones and the many that aren't, despite ability or job aptitude or even likability. And I'm about to break it down so simple right now. If you have a graduating class every year of 100 people, every year the juniors become seniors and the seniors graduate. Some go to college, which was just a buffer for them to keep making money. It was just a 10-20 year buffer for them to keep making money and cash out. But I don't want to dilute my point. If your town doesn't produce 100 jobs every year minimum, that's 100 unemployed people, despite their best efforts. It doesn't stop there. Because as AI, robotics, and cheap immigration work, possibly legal, possibly illegal, I don't know, as that comes in, people are laid off by the hundreds of thousands. Okay, it's time to stop being delusional. I'm sorry I had to tell you this. I gotta be the guy everybody hates. You know, you can blame it on whatever you want. I'm just telling you how it is. You can name it however you want. I don't care what you name it. Okay, you can say capitalism, you can say late stage capitalism, you can say communist infected capitalism, you can say blah 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 blah. I really don't care, because you're attacking the puppet, not the puppet master, not the hand. They're just gonna get a new sock puppet and just put two. Even if it has the best intentions and the best name ever, they're just gonna put a different sock puppet on there. And I apologize for my crooked teeth, lifetime poverty, poor parents, despite rigorous hard work and intelligence. But just stay with me here, okay? We're not done yet. if people stay at their job before you graduated, before you were born, before you were a baby, people were employed before you in the job market. They stay in their careers for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years until retirement if that company never goes down. We also all know that companies consolidate. They rarely expand into other successful companies that are smaller. Sometimes it happens, but then they eventually sell out, consolidate again, which is why only a handful of companies own every single other company as a subdivision or whatever you want to call it. We all know this with food, with media, with everything. And if you're not part of the club, then you don't get to talk. And if you do talk and you're not part of the club, well, you better just hope your message doesn't take off, because if it does, they're probably going to black bag you. But, there was no, that's the built-in dead man switch, is when you give people nothing to lose, they're going to just go for it anyway. Because you gave them nothing to gain. There's nothing in this world for a good man. But that's a whole nother topic. It's very sad. But so all these boomers and Gen Xers are like, get a job, hippie, blah, blah, blah. But they're the ones also coming out of retirement because things are so expensive. Inflation has decimated their retirement. It's decimated our savings, even those of us who are responsible, never been on government benefits. Yeah, I don't even know how to apply for them. Okay? I have been the honest, hardworking, smart, strong, healthy loser, no bad habits, no drinking, no smoking, no dating, celibate, just nothing. I haven't got a video game console since the PS3, and I got that in high school. Yeah, no gambling, never done drugs. The guitars I have are like $70 guitars, like $100 guitars, and I only bought them 2 years ago. I had one guitar my whole life. So these boomers and Gen Xers and hoity-toity millennials and even Gen Z, they don't leave their job position, and companies save and pocket $20K every time they can fire somebody. Just say they're rehiring for a moral virtue signal when they're actually not, putting out fake application or fake whatever job position openings, listings, and just not hire anybody, especially if they're charging a application fee. Guys, come on. Seriously? Think about the money that generates alone from people who don't have any money coming in. That's pure evil, especially if it's digital. But we're not going to talk about actual discrimination and sexism and racism in hiring. That's a whole topic. You can walk in a place and you're not part of the club. You're not part of the club, especially if you're a Christian. And you're not going to take part in the gossip. You're not going to take part in this and that. They hate you. They hate each other, but they hate you even more. But that's another conversation. So yeah, these people, they don't come out of their job position for 40, 50 years. Then they retire for 2 years, have to actually look in the mirror at all the bad decisions they made, and they would rather just continue being a workaholic while gaslighting all of the younger generations. And even some of their own generation. you know, because you don't see these people, they get swept under the rug. So, yeah, and then the ones who aren't are, you know, chronically in irredeemable credit card debt, I guess. Sometimes people make it work if they have a healthy family. How rare is that, though? And yeah, we're just effed. Nobody's talking about it. Everything's getting worse. I'm not even trying to be a doomer about it. But this was completely preventable, and I'm mad at all of you for being little wussies that called me a weirdo while we were growing up because I tried to save us and you didn't listen. And now we're here. And I have to go down on the sinking ship with all of you. I'd rather jump, honestly. But it's not a perfect analogy. We live in a concrete jungle. And now that the data centers are coming in, ooh, don't get me started on that. But yeah, sorry if this is a little awkward. This is like my first talking at the camera video, and I'd really just rather not show my face and stuff, but it's complicated. YouTube wants me to prove that YouTube's saying it's gonna like delete me. I'm sure I'm shadow banned already or whatever, but YouTube's saying it's gonna like delete my account because it doesn't have my parents' permission. That, do I look 13 to you? Come on, man. Yeah, and you just make yourself a target when you say this stuff, and probably if any employer saw it, they would say, oh, well, you're uneligible for hire just for, you know, not licking the boots, man. And I'm not gonna, honestly. I don't like being the slave driver guy, but I do like privately getting in the heat of work, but I like resting, which is something that's not an option. All your hard work, you get paid the same or less than the guy who, you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to explain it. You've probably seen other videos. But that's it. Sorry for the hideous double chin angle. Yeah, that's it. Gonna make a summary here, maybe cut it into a short. If 100 people sweat, if 100 people graduate high school every year, but your town does not generate 100 jobs, and the next town over does not generate 100 jobs while they're laying people off, while boomers and Gen Xers are having to come out of retirement because their savings have been slashed by inflation, jobs fundamentally, as an idea entirely, how they are, can't work. They can't work. Oh, how are we gonna? It can't work. It can't work. You can't put the square peg in the round hole. We're all pretending, and we've been pretending for really less than 70 years that it could. It's been on borrowed time, which is why our debt is insane. See ya.